Today I want to share with you how I do pork chops out on my smoker. Now I went to my butcher down in Hernando, which isn't too far from where I live, and asked for some thick cut pork chops. They did a really great job of cutting these. You can see, man, they're real thick. I told them I wanted about a 2-finger chop, and that's what I got. These are gonna smoke up real nice, and I wanted them thick so they'll hold up to the longer cook that we're gonna do with these on the smoker. We're gonna be about 250 degrees cooking temp today, and it's gonna take, an hour, hour and a half, something like that to get these chops done. We're not fast cooking them. We're gonna slow them down, really let them get some of that good smoker flavor in them. But the first thing that I wanna do with them is get them in a brine. And with a chop like this, they really take a brine real well. And that's what I have mixed up here. I'm gonna put these chops just in a big Ziploc bag. And then I want them to soak, for about an hour, hour or two. This isn't like a long brine because the meat's cut. It's gonna absorb the brine flavors fast, and you're not gonna need that overnight or anything like that. That's what's a good thing about pork chops. But anytime you're cooking pork chops, especially out on the grill or smoker, give a brine a shot. What I have in this brine, just a bottle of apple juice. I put a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of kosher salt, and then half a cup of barbecue rub. I used my rub, but you can use whatever kind of rub you want. That's just a simple brine. It's gonna give these chops some really good flavor. Just wanna get the air out of the bag, get it worked around, and get them in your refrigerator. So we're gonna let these chops hang out in this brine for about 2 hours. It's gonna be plenty of time. We'll take them out about 30 minutes before we're gonna put them on the smoker. I'll go ahead and fire it up, have it stabilized at 250, and we'll put some seasoning on them. But I just wanted you to see how I get them in the bag and get them in a bowl, and then we put them in the refrigerator so they don't leak all over the place. Okay, our chops brine for a couple hours, and went ahead and started the grill about a half hour ago. That's when I took the chops out of the refrigerator. They've been sitting on the counter in the brine. We take them out of the brine, let the excess drain off. Now it's time to get some seasoning on them. And since we've used some barbecue rub in the brine, we're gonna use that as a base coat on these chops as well. I've just got my barbecue rub, but you can use any you like, as long as, just keep the same flavor profile going that you're using in your brine. And hey, on these smoked chops, if you wanna do some different flavors, go ahead. It's a good time to play around with them. I like the way this barbecue rub tastes with them on the smoker. I'm just seasoning all sides. All right, we got rub on both sides. Now I want to come back with a little bit of something for some coarse texture, kick the pepper up a little bit, and adds a little bit more salt to the outside of these chops. Really some good flavor. I use it a lot on brisket, but I'm also going to use it on these chops. It's Montreal steak seasoning. And you don't get real heavy with this. You just want a little bit on each one. Just going to give it some texture, a little bit of extra pop. But you notice I'm not going real heavy. Just something to give it a little extra texture. So now our chops are room temp. They're seasoned up. The grill's ready outside. Let's go outside and get some smoke on these chops. I'll show you what temp we're gonna be cooking at, what kind of wood smoke we're gonna use. Okay, we're out here at the smoker now, and I've got my Yoder pit fired up at 250 degrees today. So if you're cooking on traditional stick burner smoker or a vertical smoker, or even like a Weber set up for indirect cooking, just hold it around that 250 degree range. You'll be good to go for these chops. Now I'm gonna get these on the top shelf with my Yoder. So we got the chops on the grill. Got these Barbecuer's Delight cherry pellets giving us some nice smoke. We're gonna close it up. We're gonna look for an internal temperature of right around 140 today. So I'll let it smoke 30 minutes or so, and we'll come back and I'll put a probe in it to see where we're at, because I don't wanna over smoke the chops. You want them right at that perfect 145 after they carry over. It's gonna be nice and juicy. The brine's gonna add some moisture to it, so they're not gonna be dry, and that's the big thing when you're cooking chops, you don't want them dry. So let's close the lid, let them smoke a little while, come back and we'll show you what we're looking at. All right, it's been about 30 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and get a probe off in the center of one of these thickest chops, just so I can kind of keep an eye on what's going on. I wanna get them off when they're right about 140 degrees. They'll carry over to that 145 mark, but they're looking good. Got a little sweat coming out, that's what we wanna see. We're sitting at about 114 right now, so we're gonna keep letting them smoke. Okay, we're about an hour into our cook with our thick cut chops here, and I just want to get them cooking on both sides a little bit, get some of that grill flavor on both sides. We're sitting at about 130 internal temperature. We need about 10 more degrees. So I'm gonna pick that up here on the back side. Now you could, if you didn't want to smoke them the whole time on a smoker, you could put them over on some high heat grill, finish them off. That'd be fine too, but I'm gonna get some good flavor here. I'm just gonna leave them just like this. Get my probe back in. Keep letting it cook for about another 15-20 minutes. We're gonna watch them, get them off here at 140 degrees. Okay, our temps hit. I'm setting right at 140, just clicked up to 141 degrees on the chop that we have temped. Been right at 1 hour 20 minutes total time for these thick cut chops. So I'm gonna pull the probe out, and I am just gonna check, see if we're hitting 140 on them. 139, 140, oh yeah, 142. We are right where we need to be. These chops are done. At this point, this is all I'm doing to them. We're not glazing or anything. I just want to serve them just like this, a good smoked pork chop. Got some great color on them. We're gonna get them off here, let them rest a few minutes, and then they're ready to serve. So that's a plate of pork chops right there. I can't wait to try one. Okay, we got the chops off the smoker, and I've had them sitting here resting about 15 minutes, and that's plenty of time for these. Now comes the best part of the day when you get to try one. So let's cut into one of these big chops and see what we did, man. I'm anxious to see. So it's cooked all the way through. Get a bite here. Ooh, it's juicy. You can really tell that flavor from the brine deep down in the meat. It's got a really good balance. The rub on the outside, a little bit of that Montreal for a spicy kind of peppery bite. Goes good on a pork chop. I'm gonna get another bite. Normally don't take two, but this was so good. That's good eats. We'll turn it where you can kind of see what's going on. We got some smoke color, a little bit of smoke ring on them. Got lots of juice coming out. When I squeeze it, you can just see the juice moist. The brine keeps that pork chop moist. Cooking at that 250 degrees the whole time does as well. So to recap, all we did was we make it a quick brine, apple juice, brown sugar, kosher salt, and barbecue rub. We let those pork chops float in that brine for about 2 hours. That's all they need. We took them out, seasoned them with some dry rub, a little bit of Montreal on top of that, layered it, and we put them in some cherry smoke, 250 degrees. It only took about 1 hour and 20 minutes. We flipped them about halfway through. We just made sure we hit that internal of 140 degrees before we pulled them off, and they carry over to finish out at 145. So that's all there is to cooking these thick cut pork chops on your smoker. So if you like what we're doing here at How to Barbecue Right, hey, give us a like. Come back, check out our website, HowToBBQRight.com. We got tons of videos, recipes on there. Also, hit us up on Facebook and Twitter, man. We love the communication. If you got some requests, we'll try to get those too, but come back and see us.